Hey everyone, Kate and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live as we talk about the conversation around choice. I think this is a really interesting one as we think about it in context of confidence. We've just jumped off a closeout session for the latest cohort in the Acts of Confidence program. Always one of our favourite sessions every year to hear in the participants' own words around the impact of the program, free to be me, to show up, to be authentic. I think when we think about the definition of confidence, we talk about our ability to speak up, to speak our truth, to be seen, valued, recognized, rewarded for the contribution I make, the problems I solve in context of professionally. But I think there is a really other important piece that we talk about, which is around freedom to make choices in alignment with who I am and what I want. And I think when we think about the conversation of choice, when we feel like we don't have choice, we don't have freedom, that actually undermines our confidence. That piece where we're doing something we don't want to do or isn't in alignment with our values or the way we want to live life or what we want to actually achieve, that actual behavior and experience undermines the confidence in terms of how we show up in career and life.
This is such a big one because we are making choices all the time. And a lot of the time, we're not even conscious that we're making those choices. So one of the things we really hold in our programs and in our work is to become far more conscious around the choices you're making, because we know that as we shine a light on what's really going on, as we illuminate and we see the ways in which our default assumptions, the ways in which we're saying, perhaps, I don't feel like I have choice here, or I have to do this, or, even though I don't want to do this, I'm probably going to say yes because it's too hard to say no. Or we very often assume that there is no choice, or we've made a decision back somewhere that we don't have power in this situation. And I think one of the things we notice all the times with our participants in the program and people talking about this work is, oh, it's me. I was assuming that I couldn't do something different. I had decided that for a whole lot of reasons, I wasn't able to say no. It would mean, either I wasn't liked, or I might miss out on an opportunity, or someone would judge me for it. There was a whole lot of reasons why I thought there was no choice, but actually I might have been able to say, I might have been able to say no instead of yes. I might have been able to choose something that felt a bit uncomfortable, but at least I've got consciously now choosing to do it or not do it. And I think that's where we see a difference is, even if I then say, okay, well, I will do it, I'm in a far stronger position and far more confident because I know that I chose to do it. And that is quite empowering. And it actually means I'm responsible for myself rather than deciding someone else is a choice here and something else outside of me is just a default. I've got leverage here. I've got power in this situation.
Yeah, I think it definitely talks to this conversation around personal power. I think if we circle back to those moments, and we've all been there and probably still are, where we say yes, where we really want to say no, in that moment, there doesn't feel like there's choice. Our work and our ability to raise our awareness and consciousness to recognize that we do have choice. We may not like the choice, but we actually do have options available to us. And to your point, Fee, just that ability to recognize that there is an element of freedom. It may not feel that both choices are equal in terms of its experience and impact on my life. And what we know through our work with our clients is actually the more that we raise the consciousness, awareness around what's going on and dig into some of the assumptions and beliefs that often are operating on autopilot for us, all of a sudden we're able to recognize that maybe that the saying no choice actually is a far more valid option for us. And there's all these undercurrent factors, the fears that you talked about a moment, that actually make it feel like it's not a choice at that point in time. And it's this real, I guess, revealing of a situation, revealing of options and possibilities, but revealing of my opportunity, the power, the agency I have over how I experience my career, my work, but also my personal dynamic as well. And what we know is when we open up the doorway to the consciousness around that, all of a sudden we start to make small shifts. We talk about small acts of confidence to challenge some of these old default beliefs, assumptions, and behaviors. And that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. There's a piece here around being willing to get a little bit uncomfortable with ourselves. You know, as we realize potentially that we've been on autopilot, that we've done things in a certain way because we assumed we didn't have confidence or didn't have choice, that we didn't have the right in a way to question or to do something differently. Initially, that can feel like, oh, but you know, what will happen if I do that? And that discomfort often holds us back. And that's where the default can be. And we let the feeling, that uncomfortable feeling, drive our experience and drive our decisions about whether or not there's choice. And what we know is, as we explore those feelings, as we unpack what's going on, as we see where potentially our fear, our guilt, our worry about what other people will think, when that is clear, we're far more likely to then be able to make a choice that feels true to ourselves, or at least we know what we're saying yes and no to in a way that holds our own integrity in that moment, as opposed to feeling we're at the mercy of everything around us and as though other people or external factors are making choices for us.
So lots to dig into this one, an opportunity, I guess, to raise some consciousness and challenge maybe some of the pilot default beliefs, assumptions in terms of how we go about life, encouraging you to do that, but with compassion and being kind to yourself, of course. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love you to share it with anyone in your world, your network, who you think might benefit from today's conversation. Of course, if you want to dig into more of our Facebook Lives, head over to our Facebook page. Lots of videos there for you to check out. And when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.